Dobro Jutro, Divine Pisces, 222. It is Sunday, January 18th, 2020. Do an energy check-in for the twin flames today. Okay, that one apparently wants to come out. And see what's going on here. Yeah, well, alright. Yeah, a lot of darkness surrounding the twins right now. A lot of feeling empty. Specifically with Divine Masculine, I feel. A lot of them do feel very empty inside. Of course, they're not letting this show. But a lot of them are wallowing in self-pity right now. And self-hate and guilt and whatever else is coming up. A lot of inner child wounds, definitely. That sort of thing. A lot of Divine Feminines are recognizing this as well, or, trying to, I guess, differentiate between themselves and their counterpart here. And I do feel a lot of twins, just in general, are longing for each other at this point in time. Say probably still a lot of dreams, 5D communication, that sort of thing. You're probably feeling this empty feeling, not just from yourself, but from your counterpart as well. Best thing to do with this, like if you are feeling this on your own behalf, just remember there's no reason to feel this way. There's absolutely no reason to feel this way. You have everything you need within. You don't, there's nothing missing. You don't need anyone. Not even your counterpart, okay? If you're feeling it from your counterpart, turn it positive and send it back, okay? Because a lot of dark night of the soul is still happening right now, guys. A lot of ego death, a lot of towers. But it's just important to be grateful for the towers. Like I said, Friday. What day is it? Like I said, Friday on Friday's Collective, it's important to be grateful, okay? Bring on the towers, if you're feeling stuck in a situation, if you're feeling like you can't move, if you can't make a change for yourself, reach out to Source, they'll help you. Now keep in mind the towers sometimes are a lot harder to deal with, but, if you're feeling stuck, if you're not moving the way that you feel like you should, Source has a way of helping you out, and that comes sometimes by way of towers. Now it can be good towers, it can be bad towers. I don't really believe in necessarily quote-unquote bad towers, but there are towers that are a lot harder to overcome than others, so that's definitely a thing to remember. But, be grateful for the things that you're seeing, be grateful for the realizations that you're having, the transformation that you're going through, because it's bringing you balance, it's bringing you inner peace, right? Some of you may need to clear out head chakra, third eye, okay? I'm still going through ascensions right now, so I feel like, crown chakras are probably really, really opened up, but it's like the third eye is having trouble interpreting some of the messages that are coming through, so clear that out, right? But a lot of Divine Feminines at this point are just kind of, I would say blinding themselves, but really trying to refocus their attention to themselves here, right? And trying not to really pay attention to the negativity that's around them at this point. If they're in a situation they want to get out of, it's like they're trying to energetically disconnect and then kind of follow through that way in the 3D. And Divine Masculine, it really is. A lot of them are blinding themselves to the decisions that need to be made. They're not wanting to face themselves at all, so they're just closing it off. But at the same time, they're feeling the void. And they're feeling the fear, and they're feeling the darkness around them, and they feel like the world's out to get them, and they feel trapped. They feel trapped inside their heads. They feel trapped inside themselves. They feel like they can't get out. They're just like, they're literally inside screaming, screaming for help, and they can't get out. And they feel really, really pent up. There's a lot of pent up anger, pent up rage here, guys. And I feel like it's just building and building and building. And eventually it's just going to get to the point where not only are they going to explode, but there's going to be some serious towers that are going to come around, okay? Like Divine Masculine, if he just sits there and does nothing, the universe is going to take care of it for him. And 9 times out of 10, not going to like the outcome. Now, they may like, the aftermath. Like, if they've been trying to get out of a situation, they feel like they can't. The tower comes and it gets them out of the situation. They might feel like some relief there, but then they'll have to pick up the pieces, right? So there's a lot of anxiety surrounding that. And a lot of them are trying to run away from the towers, and then you can't do that. Like, once it's set in motion, it's pretty much going to happen. So, you know, just again, being reminded to have patience with yourself, mainly, as you go through this process. Have patience with your counterpart. Have patience with those around you. And I mean, we're all learning lessons here. Okay, it's not just twin flames. Everybody's learning a lesson on this journey, okay? And so remember to have patience, have compassion, and understanding for others around you that may be going through some things, you know. And that's the thing, is like a lot of times we put out these judgments on people. Oh, this person's a jerk. Like, you know, they're manipulative, they're sneaky, they're snaky, they're, you know, whatever. But you have to remember, a lot of times, you know, that sort of behavior is basically a reaction to something that's going on in their lives. Like, a lot of people who are like that are very unhappy people. They're very insecure people. They're very sad people. They have a lot of inner child wounds, probably, that they haven't addressed, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? And remember to have compassion and patience for those people as well. Okay. So taking a look at Divine Masculine, yeah, Divine Masculine wants out. Divine Masculine wants out. Third party. Yeah. Divine Masculine wants out of third party situation. Bad. Like, energetically, completely disconnected from these situations, right? Try not to give any attention or any energy to the drama that's in the situation at all. It's like, at this point, they're just kind of like, they've kind of disconnected to the point where they're just kind of going on, like, autopilot, really. You know, if they're in a karmic connection or something like that, or maybe they're in a family environment that has a lot of expectations on them, especially when it comes to money, it's like they're just nodding, smiling, nodding, really, just moving on. You know, not saying anything, not sticking up for themselves at all. I feel a lot of Divine Masculines are really beat down right now by some of these third-party situations. A lot of them are being belittled, or even just, like, manipulated emotionally. Some of them are being sexually manipulated too, honestly, which is kind of messed up, if you ask me. But, you know, a lot of them just want out. They just want out of these situations, you know. And it's like they are calling to Source to ask for help because they feel like they can't do it themselves, you know. And so, therefore, towers are going to be coming in. But yeah, I mean, I just feel a lot of anger and frustration surrounding these connections, right? Basically, Divine Masculine is just not in a good place emotionally, just not, like, still getting, like, they're emotionally disconnected, but I feel like they're not really fully disconnected from their emotions, so to speak. It's like no matter how hard they try to suppress them, they just keep coming up and overflowing, and then they lash out, or they cry, or they, you know, have bouts of depression and anxiety and anger and guilt for them, you know, for the things that they've done. Facing karma, basically. A lot of Divine Masculines are facing karma right now. And a lot of them are just not, at this point, choosing self-love. They're choosing expectation over self-love at this point. And it's going to get worse, honestly. It's going to get worse until Divine Masculine decides to make a change with the karmic situation, okay? Until he decides to release codependency, because a lot of them are very deep in codependency right now. Emotional, financial, whatever. Very, very deep in codependency. And so they really are being called to release this stuff, and they're just holding on to these situations because they honestly are so afraid to let go. They don't know what's going to happen, and that scares them, you know? It's the whole idea of releasing control, right? Divine Masculine does not like to release control, okay? And so, you know, I do feel a lot of third-party situations, particularly relationships and things like that, are like breaking down I feel like the communication is breaking down, which is, that's like one of your main facets of a relationship. Like, if you can't have communication, if you cannot communicate with somebody in a relationship, you have no relationship. If you can't trust somebody in a relationship, you have no relationship. Trust and communication, you know? And I feel like these things are breaking down in some of these third-party karmic partnerships. Now, there's also, you know, I feel like a breakdown, you know, in families, jobs, you know, any sort of third-party karmic situation. There is a lack of communication. There is no trust, very little to no trust here. Thus the manipulation. There's a lot of deceit here, a lot of holding back of truths and emotions. Not just with Divine Masculine. I feel like, you know, there is disappointment here. There's disappointment here. I'm getting specifically with karmic partners, there's disappointment. Things didn't turn out the way that they wanted, so they're resorting to manipulation, sexual manipulation, emotional manipulation, financial manipulation, to try to keep control of the situation as well and keep control of Divine Masculine. And this could, of course, be a family, you know, religion, you know, a job, whatever. It doesn't have to be a karmic partner, particularly. But I am picking up, you know, Queen of Pentacles usually to me represents a female karmic. And that's a land sign, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Okay, so that being said, a lot of these situations with these karmic partners, these foundations are not stable at all. They're breaking down, guys. They're breaking down. Like one wand at a time. They are breaking down. Okay, so yeah, that's actually fairly interesting. So yeah, Divine Masculine wanting out of the third party situation. They are not emotionally fulfilled, being emotionally manipulated. They don't feel financially stable, and the foundations that they have built over time are just not stable at all. They're crumbling. Okay, yeah, and so Divine Masculine is being forced to make a decision here. I like this depiction. There he is holding his dick stick, right? And surrounded by the Five of Wands. Yeah, so like trying to come out of the conflict, right? And some of them may be actually using sex to come out of these conflicts. Maybe like, I mean, the way they deal with conflict in their, I don't know, partnership or marriage or whatever. It's like, things get rough, so let's have sex. You know. Anyway, so a lot of them are being forced to make decisions here to kind of come out of this conflict, okay? And to get out of the drama that's surrounding them, and also the conflict within their heads. And, you know, it's being mirrored, absolutely. You know, Divine Feminine's going through her own thing right now, absolutely. You know, it may be manifesting different, but we are mirroring, okay? And so, that being said, Divine Feminine has pretty much made her decision here. Two of Swords. She's made her decision, and she's in the front of the boat, and she's guiding the way here. And Divine Masculine's back here with the Three of Swords. Or, I'm sorry, with the Four of Swords here. Still kind of stuck in his head, but he's kind of like just, it's like going with the flow here, right? Trying to move through into calmer waters. So trying to come out of the conflict. He wants to be victorious over the conflict and move into these calmer waters. At least that's the energy he wants to be in. He wants to get out of this. He doesn't like being there. And this is actually on the bottom of the deck. So yeah, a lot of them are facing karma right now, guys. They're just facing karma, and they're being forced to face themselves and come to terms with themselves. Which is not easy to do. It's really not. It's really hard to sometimes look inside yourself and come to terms with the things that you've done, maybe to people in your life, or the things that you've done to yourself, or maybe the things you've said to yourself, the way you've manipulated yourself into thinking that you deserve to be treated the way that you're being treated, when that's not true. No one deserves to be manipulated. Nobody deserves to be treated like they don't matter, or be treated like they're not important, right? Especially in a love relationship, okay? No one deserves that. You don't need somebody else to approve of you to feel loved, okay? So Yeah, so Divine Feminine, pretty much at the point, you know, she's following her bliss, she's following her own self-love here and learning that, you know what, it's fine. Everything that happens for a reason. And hang on, y'all, this thing, I swear. Oh, come on. There we go. That's better. Okay. Yeah. So Divine Feminine, yeah, trying to stay in her bliss here. Despite the void, despite the sadness that's coming from Divine Masculine, and she's trying to ascend here. She's trying to get into a higher state of mind and just say, you know, I got to balance all of this out. A lot of Divine Feminines are feeling pressured right now, I feel. Like, not just with external parties, but really by the connection right now. So if you're feeling any sort of pressure, or you're feeling drained by it, you need to kind of figure out what kind of boundaries you need to set there, okay? Like, and I've talked about purging for your Divine Masculine before. If that's draining you, you need to stop, okay? But yeah, Divine Feminine, trying to follow her bliss here, trying to close out some codependent cycles of her own so she can stand on her own 2 feet. You know, and I feel like a lot of Divine Feminines, you know, are still not quite ready to take some leaps here that they know they need to take. So that thus, you know, calling out to Source, help me, help me, help me, bring the tower, bring the tower, bring the tower, I don't want to do this anymore, I can't figure it out on my own, please show me what to do, bring on a tower, blah, blah, blah. Okay? And so, I do feel some Divine Feminines are still not fully integrating their truth at this point. Almost like they're dancing around the truth. And this could be with karmic partner, could be with a job, could be family, could be with a Divine Masculine, okay? Not fully in their truth at all, not speaking their truth. And it could be that they're not speaking their truth because somebody else is not speaking their truth, okay? Because it's being mirrored. So just remember that, you know, if you're withholding truth, if you're withholding something like that, or if you're being manipulative because somebody else is being manipulative, that's an ego move, okay? And don't do that. It's no bueno, okay? But yeah, still a lot of Divine Feminine still in their heads here about heartbreak. A lot of heartache still going on with Divine Feminine, okay? And yeah, still not fully in their truth about why this is affecting them, you know? And I'm not even talking about external at this point. Like, not being fully in your truth as to why this is affecting you. Why are you in this? Why are you here again, Divine Feminine? Why aren't you speaking your truth about it? You know, maybe somebody did something to you that was not okay, and you didn't stand up for yourself, and maybe you're kind of in your head about it, like, why didn't I stand up for myself? Why didn't I stick up for myself? Why didn't I speak my truth to this person? Why didn't I tell this person that what they did hurt me? So it's like Divine Feminine is really dwelling on this. Really dwelling on this. Maybe not so much about the action itself, but about the fact that she did not speak up. You know, she wasn't fully in her truth there. Okay? And so, you know, I feel like a lot of Divine Feminines, they do that. They beat themselves up about things. Divine Masculine does it too. Divine Feminine does. Definitely. And that's a cycle that needs to break too. Stop beating yourself up. Have patience with yourself. Why are you beating yourself up? Okay, well, it's never too late. You know, if you feel like you need to say your piece to somebody, do it. I mean, obviously do it. You don't want to be resentful, but if you feel like you need to speak up for yourself, like if somebody did something to you that you felt was wrong, let that person know. Maybe they didn't realize they did something wrong. You know, honestly, like a lot of people, they just do things based on their own motivations. And most of the time, it has nothing to do with you. What did I just say about people who you feel are manipulative or snaky or whatever to you? They're probably very unhappy, very insecure, and they need validation from external sources in order to feel good about themselves. You know? Now, don't be judgmental about that. They're learning something too, but it's okay to stick up for yourself. You know, what you just said, that was not okay. Please don't do that. Don't do that anymore. You know, 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I did that, but I'll, you know, be sure that I don't do it again. You know, most people are that way. Now, sometimes you have people who are like, well, blah, 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 blah. And then at that point, just forgive it and just let it go. Just let it go and just be like, you know what? No, not gonna, at least I said my piece, right? So Divine Feminine, I feel like at this point, a lot of Divine Feminines are kind of back in people pleaser mode because of this. And trying to put up boundaries, absolutely. I feel like a lot of emotion is still surrounding Divine Feminine. And some of it may not be yours. And it may not be your counterparts either. It may be, you know, if you're in a work environment, there's a lot of people around you, you might be soaking up those energies. Okay, just keep in mind, you know, you want to protect yourself whenever you're, especially if you're an empath, which most of us are, you know, you want to kind of protect yourself from those energies because it can be very overwhelming. Just as an example, I went to a viewing for a friend of mine yesterday. Father passed away, and I get really weird at funerals. I don't the sadness and the guilt and things that kind of come at you when you're in that kind of setting. Like, you get really overwhelmed by people around you that way. It's not even like the people who are passed away. That does not bother me. Honestly, dead people don't scare me. Okay? But like when you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are grieving and like this constant, mainly guilt. I get a lot of guilt like when I go to things like that. People who are guilty or feel guilty because maybe they feel like things were left unsaid. Maybe they felt they didn't forgive this person. You know, there's a lot of self-hate when you're in like a viewing or a funeral. Honestly, that's a lot of what I pick up. But of course, grieving and sadness and anger and frustration and, you know, things like that. So like I was in this environment, I was just getting bombarded by all of this, and I was just like, I gotta get out of here. I was there for maybe 5 minutes, but I mean, honestly, I had to meet my parents, so that was the thing. But I can't stay long in situations like that. I also get really, really awkward because of all the energies that are around me, and I start making jokes that are completely inappropriate for the circumstance. Like, I'm that person that laughs at a funeral because I don't know what else to do. So anyway, so I feel like a lot of Divine Feminines are kind of like feeling a little overwhelmed by energies that are around them too. And so you may be picking up on somebody else's energy that's not yours, and you're kind of taking it as yours. So really, really need to discern what you're feeling and why you're feeling the way you're feeling, okay? And kind of go from there, because Divine Feminines are very susceptible. Actually, really, most empaths, all empaths are very susceptible to external energies. And you tend to take on those energies as your own, especially when you don't know what's happening, right? All right, so messages from your counterpart. Yeah. In your head, because you're confused. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the lesson. Yeah. Yeah, some of them are definitely spying here. Okay. Not just in the 3D. Some of them are actually spying in the 5D. They know they can do it. Okay. Alright. Messages and advice from Source. Yeah, it's time to take up your wand. Okay? It's time to step into mission. I've been saying this for a while. It's time. It's time. Okay? Balance out that sacral chakra. That is your creative chakra. That is your that is where your passions are. That's where, you know, that's why it's also linked to, you know, the sexual organs. That's where your creativity is. That's where you find your bliss. That's your, like, your, what's one word I'm looking for? Yeah, that's how you birth a new beginning, basically. So clear out that sacral chakra. That's funny. Yeah, sacral chakra. See? So clear out that sacral chakra, guys. Get that balanced out. All right, and remember to follow your bliss. Clear out that third eye. I already said that at the beginning of the reading, guys. Some of you are having issues seeing the messages that are coming through. You're asking for help and you're getting messages, but you're not able to interpret them. So clear out that third eye, okay? Get that balanced out so you can keep the channel clear. And remember patience. The second time this has come up, patience. Patience with yourself, have patience with others, have patience with your counterpart. Everything's going to be fine. Now, patience does not mean waiting. There's a difference, and I've discussed this before, okay? Patience does not mean waiting, all right? And to accept yourself, mainly. And this is a big one for Divine Masculine. Divine Masculines, most of them, they do not accept themselves at all. They don't love themselves. They don't accept themselves at all. You know, and then the reason they don't accept themselves is because others don't accept them for who they are, which is backwards. You're supposed to accept yourself first. That's the lesson. That's the point. Okay. And also accepting the situation as it is right now, guys. You know, it just is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it right now. So just focus on yourself, focus on your mission, and get your butt moving because you got work to do. Okay? All right, guys. Hope this has resonated. If it has, please like, share, subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.